It's time for a sacrifice. Change the field, change the matter. This is a quote from Joe Dispenza, a scientist studying the effects of meditation and how it can heal the body from chronic diseases, terminal illnesses, you name it. People are healing themselves from literally anything and everything. And the field represents the inner world. Matter is a reflection of what this field is forming. Change the field, change the matter. If you change the matter, you change your reality. So, who you are now must be sacrificed in order for your highest self to emerge. Your higher self is not a one-off person, but a continual embodiment of who you wish to become. Being in the realm of matter comes with a sacrifice, whether you like it or not. It truly does not matter. Now, every breath you take requires an exhale. Every wave that comes in must go out. Every day must give into night. Every desire must be met with action. Who you are right now is not who you want to be, and it's only logical to sacrifice this version of yourself to make more room for who you want to be. I personally am going through a transformation in my life right now where I've had this visceral fear response of approaching women. I literally cannot for the life of me figure out what memory is causing this, what experience I went through, what I observed. I have done a plethora of inner work. I believe that it's purely a matter of being so attuned to a specific emotion, the emotion of rejection, that has completely and utterly clouded my ability to see a different reality or a different relationship with women. Whatever it is for you, no matter how hard your situation might be right now, do not let yourself stay stuck in this emotion. Do not let yourself stay the same person. You have to sacrifice this version of yourself in order for you to get to the next level. I refuse to do this another day. I cannot live like this. I cannot go another day walking down the street not being able to say hello to a beautiful, vibrant woman just to compliment her beauty. It's literally, I digress. I'm not here to complain about my problems. I'm trying to emphasize the importance of doing the work and genuinely expressing the importance of being aware of this notion of having to sacrifice yourself, because you will be the same fucking person tomorrow, a week from now, a year from now. Nothing is going to change unless you genuinely, you have to change yourself. You have to become a completely different person with a different mind, a different body, and a different reality. You are going to stay the same fucking person for eternity if you do not take this seriously. Do you genuinely want to be 50 years old complaining about the same shit you've been complaining about for 50 fucking years? Worse than that, do you want to be in your deathbed regretting your entire existence because you were too afraid to get over yourself? It is not worth it, so it's time for a sacrifice. Now, a quick overview. Number 1 is a brief rundown of the system. Number 2 is the field. Number 3, explanation of the reality. Number 4, the brain's relationship to creation. Number 5, the heart's relationship to creation. Number 6 is the how. And 7 is just my concluding thoughts. So without further ado, let's get into number 1, a brief rundown of the system. Reality is one unified system, not many systems in one. It is relational, interconnected as one giant system that works in cooperation within itself. Quantum entanglement became an undeniable truth in 2022 when 3 physicists won the Nobel Peace Prize for demonstrating this. And if you want to know more about this, watch my latest video because we did a deep dive in quantum entanglement. But in short, just so you have a general idea, a deep enough idea to make this video make more sense, there is a known and measured field of energy that shapes our experience of reality. This is measured now, where quickly, because I obviously think it's important to explain quantum entanglement a little bit more. They took 2 photons, or a pair of photons, shot them in opposite directions, measured 1 photon in a way that wasn't measuring the other one, and when the photon that was measured first, the other photon had the same exact measurement, even though it was going in the opposite direction at speeds faster than light and sound. It reacted the same exact way. As where previously it was thought each photon or object is local to its reality, so it's what's locally around something is affecting it. But quantum entanglement obviously shows that how one reacts, the other reacts. This is insane to think about, because it's describing a unified system, not a separate system in which reality gives off. We think reality is all separate. It's not. It's all interconnected with our story. We're quantum entangled to our story. Now, the field is pure potential. It has infinite possibilities. It does not have matter. In fact, it is fully antimatter. The field can be described as God, source, anything that connects you to a higher power. Now, quantum entanglement shows us that we are entangled with the story of our existence, and based on the story you hold, you will turn possibility of that story into experience of the story. This makes our reality a reflection of who we are within. Most see reality as separate from ourselves and think to themselves that God, the universe, or source is against us or is simply dead. The classic saying, God is dead. The truth lies within the second Hermetic principle. As within, so without. Now, the question remains, how does one create their reality? The brain is a transmitter of ideas, and the body is a receiver that magnetizes these ideas with emotion into experience. Gotta make these corrections. Now, this photo quickly. I am getting better at visually describing these things for you guys. So here we have a cross of sorts. The horizontal cross represents three-dimensional time, that is physical reality, that is past, present, and the future. This is what we experience our idea of time. However, the field is a fifth dimensional, where there is eternal time, and that eternal time is in the present moments. Now, the brain is what generates the idea for the heart to receive, and the heart is what actually provides materialization to these ideas. So it's not necessarily a top-down model, but for general simplistic sake of explaining this to you, you go from the field and to the brain, to the heart, into reality. But this is more like an enclosed system, like the snake eating its own tail, where reality is going to the field and the field is going to reality. Now, but this is extremely important to understand, because we believe we're stuck in this linear path of time in which we are, because we obviously age and we die and we leave this earth. But our experience of reality is not linear. It is lateral, I guess you could say. It is infinite in what we are observing. Understanding that means reality is malleable, it is formable, it is changeable. Most people are stuck within this three-dimensional realm. They're stuck in the linear time, past and future. And if they're stuck to the past, they're continuously recreating the past into the present moment. There's a notion that I really like from Joe Dispenza that is described, the body is a record of the past, right? So if the body is a record of the past, and then you are cutting out the infinite, and you're recreating the same little movie over and over and over and over again. That is crazy to think about. It's almost sad and depressing to think about as well, because out of all possibilities for you to experience reality, you're recreating the same event over and over and over and over and over. And this is why people have such rigid beliefs, because they only allow them to experience one state of reality. If they're only experiencing one state of reality, how are they going to see your perspective? How are they going to understand you? They won't. They literally cannot fathom your perspective, because they are so ingrained into what they are repeating day after day after day. And that happens because they are pulling infinite possibilities from the field, into reality by generating ideas from the brain, thoughts from the brain, in which the heart magnetizes those thoughts and ideas with emotion that generates their lived experience. So that's just a quick, brief rundown of the system. Now we're going to run down reality and what reality is. Reality is known as space-time. This has infinite space. And just a quick question that I have. Within the realm of science, obviously, it is known as space-time. And if space-time has infinite space, does that mean our world have the boundaries that the elite say there is? It makes you wonder, because there's so much war around our plane of existence, our plane of reality. This world that we live in is just how do I say it? There's more lands that we could really fathom. I'm not saying that I believe we're boxed in by a great ice wall. I'm curious and will remain curious about what lies beyond public knowledge. Because if we are in a realm that has infinite space, in accordance to what science says to be true, then what lies beyond what is known? Why is it that why are people not allowed to fly into the Antarctica without getting shot down by a treaty of governments who control the land there? What are they, like, if it's a matter of protection, why not just let us go venture out into Antarctica and if we die, we die? Like, why are you not letting us go there? I digress. Just food for thought, just interesting things. It is the material world, and typically we have this notion that a person who's materially driven is focused on watches and cars and things like that, which is true to an extent, but it more means a person who creates from matter. So having to go through the linear process of time rather than directly pulling from the field and creating their own lived experience. Two very, very, very different things, because let's use the example of needing to get a promotion. You're going to have to work 15 years to get a specific emotion, but let's say you go straight to the field and accept the promotion within the second year of you working there. And if you truly become a match for that, you'll get the promotion on the third year rather than having to work the traditional 15 years. Just an example. Distance takes time, experience through the senses. It is the realm of duality / separation, hot and cold, day and night, man and woman, love and hate. It is body, people, places, and things. It is action and effect. Now, that's in the later part of the video. Now, another quote from George Dispenza is, "The ceiling to our reality is the speed of light." Now, reality is only a prison if you create within the speed of light, time, in what's objectively in front of you. If, however, you create from the field / your imagination, you will become a match for your wish and magnetize it into reality. It's always emphasizing the notion of becoming a match. By becoming a match, you fully embody your wish. And if you fully embody your wish, you're not looking for something because you know it's already true. Very important to understand. And very important to learn how to properly do, which is another good video that I'll make for you. Reality is the materialization of frequency and energies, from waves of potential to particles of matter. It's vital to know that reality is not final. Reality in regards to experience is malleable, as I discussed previously. As mentioned above, quantum entanglement tells us that we are entangled to our story, and our story is what defines our experience of reality. This does not mean you control people, places, circumstances, or events in of themselves, but you can control your story, which changes how you experience people, places, circumstances, and events. This is why nearly all the content around manifestation tells you to change yourself, because it's your identity / self-image, interchangeable, describing the same thing, that manifests your experience of reality. Quantum entanglement is as within, so without. Reality is truly just a mirror of who you are within. In order to change one's reality, you must be honest with yourself in your attitude towards any aspect of reality. If you're not honest with yourself, you will continue to gaslight yourself into a reality you are currently not experiencing. That's literally like spiritual psychosis. Wanting to be in a reality, gaslighting yourself into artificially creating an experience in which you're not physically experiencing it, all in the pursuit of physically bringing that into reality. All while underneath this facade, you don't believe anything that you're doing. That is insanity. And I've been there for far too long. It is a horrible place to be in. You know, pretending to be somebody you're not. Which is kind of like the beginning part of the video of me making that emphasis is because of that. Like, I have wanted to be a specific person for so long, and I have pretended to be the person, but I've never actually taken the time to truly embody that individual. If I don't embody that individual, then how in the world am I supposed to how am I supposed to become that individual? It's just not gonna happen. In other words, you're never experiencing your dream life in the present physical moment. Now, take the time to audit your reality to discover what you believe to be true of reality. Do you find yourself feeling controlled by your experience of reality? If so, then realize you subconsciously believe you are incapable of controlling your experience of reality. Horrible place to be in as well. Not feeling any sense of inner control over your experience, which is exactly what I'm going through right now in regards to women. My body literally has a mind of its own. And it's so fucking frustrating to be mentally confident, but my body, holy shit, dude. I just turned into an insecure little boy. And it's so frustrating to not be in control over my body, rather than my body being in control of my mind. It's a terrible place to be in. Do you find yourself lacking confidence around women/men? If so, then you subconsciously believe you will be rejected, so you avoid interacting with them altogether. Just talking about myself here. Do you find yourself getting in road rage battles? That's a tongue twister. If so, then realize you consciously believe the world is against you, which results in situations like this unfolding often. Reality matches your energy. Reality matches your beliefs. Reality matches you. So, reality is purely just the reflection of the field. Reality is the byproduct of how your brain and heart are creating your lived experience through thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, which we're now going to jump into. But reality is not against you. Reality is literally just expressing who you are being. Reality is turning infinite possibility into potential, into matter, into particle form based on the energy that you were channeling. Reality is not against you. Reality is not against you. There are infinite ways for you to experience reality. What it comes down to is who you are being, as within, so without. Reality is not against you. Reality is not against me in the problems that I have with women. I'm the problem. Reality is not the problem. So for whatever you're experiencing right now, do not blame reality, blame yourself. You are the problem. There's something going on in your subconscious mind, in your body. The body and the subconscious mind are the same thing. The language of the subconscious mind is emotion, which we're going to go over, and the language of the body is emotion because the body is the subconscious mind. There's something there. But you have to become bigger than what's going on in your body. I have to become bigger than whatever memory is driving me to feel this pre-rejection that I don't even know if I'm going to experience. But I have to become bigger than that. I have to become bigger than who I am. I have to become bigger than the emotions, the thoughts, the ideas, the sensations, the feelings. I have to become bigger than this dimension. And I literally have to enter a new dimension in which I'm a completely different person with a completely different body, with a completely different reality. Reality is not against you. All right, let's get into the brain. The brain is part of the third dimension. It is part of matter. It is linear time, etc. The brain is electrical, and when charged properly, it becomes a powerful tool to impress your heart with the ideas of awe and wonder. And that is the goal, because there is no righteousness in suffering. Fuck suffering. That ain't the goal, man. You ain't gonna tell me that I'm gonna spend 100 years of existence all on the notion of suffering. Fuck that. That is insane to think about. Your brain's job is to piece together your physical experience, and that's it. The brain is not an organ for creation, but experience. Think of the brain as the organ for the mind, which is a really cool way to, because I've always thought like, okay, does the brain hold thoughts? It's like, sure, there's aspects of the brain that will light up when thinking about certain things or doing certain things. But if the brain is a record of the past along the body, then how does the brain change if it's firing the same thoughts? Well, obviously the mind sits above the brain. So the brain is really just the organ for the mind. And if the brain is an organ for the mind, and organs are subject to change, then the mind is what is the most important thing to remember at the end of the day. And it's equally as important to remember that the brain does not control you. Your brain is literally an organ for you to experience this reality, for you to use the functions of your physicality to have an experience of the material world. I have been conditioned to believe that my brain controls me, as many people have been conditioned to believe as well, which is really another way of saying that we've been conditioned to let our minds control us without us being able to control our minds. And this is backwards, because it's the mind that determines the brain's neural connection. And when someone has a change of mind, their brain has a change of wiring and firing. The heart, on the other hand, is reserved for creation. So a simple visual explanation of this is the brain pushes out ideas and thoughts. The heart takes these ideas and thoughts and impresses them into the heart through feelings and emotions. You can feel thoughts, and when you feel these thoughts, there's an associated emotion to it. So I was listening to Tony Robbins just before this, and he was talking about how his mom, when she is disappointed or feels something bad, she's associated those feelings with the emotion of humility, feeling humiliated. Words have feelings, or words have emotions associated to it. That depends on who you are and what emotions you associate with words. So again, the brain pushes out thoughts and ideas, and your heart draws that back in. And once your heart draws those thoughts and ideas into your heart, then it becomes secondhand nature. Because as you're about to find out, the heart is the more powerful organ between the brain and the heart. So if you're the heart, since the heart is the stronger organ, and if you start to take ideas and thoughts and magnetize it into your heart, that is becoming part of your identity, part of who you are as an individual. And when that happens, things are harder to change, because now it's changing your biology, it's changing your psychology, it's changing your genetic expression. These thoughts and ideas literally become part of your flesh. It's really cool to think about. If you actually give it time to think about that, thoughts and ideas literally become part of your flesh, because those thoughts and ideas eventually drive your emotions, drive your actions, behaviors, perceptions, blah, 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 blah. The problem that I've experienced for so long is that my heart has been closed, so closed. I have lived in fear, worry, and doubt, which keeps me in the mode of projecting rather than creating. I have been a prisoner of my past, rather than a creator of my future. For the longest time, I was unaware that I was transmitting my own suffering. I thought that was really funny when I was creating this video for some reason. I guess it's just the irony and the realization that all the problems that I've experienced has come from myself. I still struggle, as I've made it abundantly clear in this video. What's helped me tremendously is knowing that for each thought and idea, there's an equal feeling and emotion to experience. Furthermore, Knowing that emotions is what magnetizes my experience of reality, I now choose to select specific thoughts that revolve around the story I wish to emotionally experience. Now, your only job when it comes to your brain is to refine that which you wish to experience. Do not entertain experience of lack, doubt, and worry. Be bigger than the experience, irregardless of how real it feels. Now, I like this piece of scripture. Be transformed by the renewing of your minds. Romans chapter 12, verse 2. You renew your mind and your brain by taking no thoughts. You take no thought by sitting your eyes down and focusing on your breath and the darkness, not the evil or bad darkness, but just closing your eyes and experiencing the darkness of when you close your eyes. That's within your minds. We'll go over more of this in the last section of the lecture. The biggest challenge in dealing with the brain is its need to predict the future before it happens. You're gonna love this. This has been super helpful for me, and it's continuously helping me with my problems with women. Your brain recalls memories and the associated emotions in the attempt to match your experience of reality. This sucks when you're run by the past. This is amazing when you're run by the future of your choosing. Now, a way to look at this is something called the biopsychological feedback loop. This is essentially how your biology alters your psychology, in which you experience an environment to be a specific way. In turn, this environment then, based off your biological and psychological markers, then reinforces those two things, in which your environment then controls you. And it's a self-perpetuating loop that you do not get out of unless you make a change to your biology and your psychological state. One thing I don't think that the psychologist should have added to this and don't give enough credit is the imagination. Now, the imagination is the mechanism by which conscious meaning is converted into subconscious identity, and then ultimately in which the subconscious identity is portrayed through your conscious awareness, your conscious states. So the conscious mind is just acting out what the subconscious mind accepts as truth. So the imagination deeply programs your subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind is the body in which you have biology and psychology. Understand this is a bilateral relationship. So when you have with your perceptions, your emotions, thoughts, assumptions, beliefs, and behavior, these are the six major pillars of your psychology. And for the biology, you have neural activity, you have the endocrine signaling hormones, you have your nervous system regulation, and you have gene expression, epigenetics. If you have a change to any pillar or aspect of your psychology or biology, it in return changes the counterpart. So if you have a change of perception, your biology changes. If you have a change in your biology, your perception changes. This is a bilateral relationship that's happening all the time. So you can't have one without the other. You need to have both. So the psychology, the biology, channels down into the conscious mind, and you are experiencing the biological and psychological effects of your subconscious mind, in which electrical and electromagnetic activity reflect your internal state through people, places, circumstances, and events. So this conscious experience goes back into the imagination, and when you imagine your lived experience and you recall what you went through, that goes into your subconscious mind, which programs your body, which programs your psychology and biology to be a specific way with specific markers, which then reinforces your conscious state, in which you repeat the loop over and over and over again. It's gonna be literal hell. So I am essentially kind of living in hell. I mean, hell is really just a symbolic term to describe living in a reality that you do not want for yourself. I am experiencing hell because this feedback loop that I have it's become such a it's heavy on the biological side, where my nervous system, I can literally feel my nervous system get so jacked up before I say hello to a woman, where my heart starts beating really, really fast. I start getting clammy hands. And then this in turn changes my thoughts and the assumptions that I have about myself approaching a woman, where she's just gonna reject me, or it's gonna be awkward, or this, and that. In which then I choose to act on it, because I'm not gonna be a bitch and I'm not gonna say no. I'm gonna do it even if I'm uncomfortable. But then Because I have subconsciously created a pattern around this, I experience a conscious situation in which the conversation is awkward. She's not interested in the conversation in and of itself, and she's not interested in me as an individual because my energy is so low. And this just happens over and over and over again. So until I change the base, the subconscious aspect of who I am in relation to women, I'm not going to experience the reality I want for myself. I have to change the base of who I am. I have to change my inner world before I experience the outer reality that I want for myself. So with that being said, do not become a slave to your brain. Be firm in your mind and act when you're inspired to do so, even in the midst of fear, anxiety, and worry. It's better to take action than to take no action, in my personal opinion. Even if you're already doomed for failure, the act in of itself is enough to give you courage. And if you have courage, then you can become somebody new. Like, I know I'm going to be exceptional with women because I've had amazing relationships with women. I've had great interactions with women. I'm not cursed to this notion of having terrible relationships with women and interactions with women every single time. It's not the case. So I know, because I refuse to be a slave to my brain, that I'm going to have amazing relationships and interactions with women. For whatever it is for you, and you need to have the same attitude. But be kind to yourself, as this is a process of training your brain and body to operate in the opposite manner it was originally trained to be. You're literally retraining yourself to create your experience of reality in the complete opposite way. Because again, you were trained to create out of the 3D realm, in the realm of time, in the realm of distance, in the realm of having to earn and work and effort your way into things. But now you're learning the importance of having to create from the fifth dimension, in which you have to give who you are right now up to the version that's in the fifth dimension, that's going to come down and change who you are between your brain and your heart. Now, with that being said, let's jump into the heart. The heart is also tied to the third dimension, but is unique in its ability to create. The heart is both magnetic and electrical. The more a heart is open, the stronger its magnetic and electrical output. The stronger its electrical output, the stronger it magnetizes the thoughts and ideas into experience. The brain produces 1,000 microvolts, while the heart produces 1 macrovolt, which is 100 times stronger than the brain. Now, research shows that the human aura, when the body is in coherence, it's important, the body has to be in coherence, can be up to 3 meters, which is 1 meter is 3 feet, so 9 feet in diameter. That's pretty significant. The heart is the creative center for your experience. It literally generates your lived experience. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7 states, "For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he." Words matter not, actions matter a lot. If you are able to choose the feeling that implies your wish fulfilled, you are drawing in the reality that you want for yourself. This is why you can say all the things about manifestation, but if your actions do not match your words, you're a double-minded man. And a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. There's no shortcut. There's no bypassing this. Like, you literally are becoming a new person. If you do not become a new person, then you're going to experience the same reality day after day after day. Like, I don't know what to tell you, because I'm not the one who's making the rules. Clearly, things would be fucking easier if I did have the capacity to make the rules, but I don't. You and I are subject to the same law that we literally have to become a different person. There's no other way around it. We have to change the molecular structure of our body, because our thoughts, our ideas, our feelings, and our emotions become flesh. And when those things become flesh, we are in a specific state of reality with specific people, places, circumstances, and events that match what our flesh has become. I have to be a different person to experience women differently. I have to be a man of confidence, a man of suave, a man of swag, a man of playfulness, not taking things so fucking seriously. When I become that man, all y'all ladies better watch out, because I got years to make up for not complimenting your beauty. So whatever it is for you, you literally are becoming a new person on a molecular level. This isn't some kindergarten type shit. This is self-mastery at its finest. Now, if you're able to choose the feelings that imply your wish fulfilled, you are drawing in the reality that you want for yourself. Instead of operating with the confinements of time, you're operating in direct correlation to the creative force behind reality that is timeless. Imagine what your life would be like if you didn't need to spend years working towards something that you may or may not have. Like, imagine that. 15 years to get that promotion, and the day comes and you don't get it. You just spent 15 years of your fucking life slaving away for something that you didn't know if you were gonna get or not. I'm not living my life like that. I'm only operating in guarantees. Creating from the heart removes this time of potential and rejection, because there's infinite possibilities, and out of infinite possibilities, you can draw a single possibility in which you get that promotion. I think that's fair and reasonable to state. You are pulling a specific reality from the field and magnetizing it to you through your heart. Now, as Neville Goddard famously said, feeling is the secret. Feeling is based in the heart, and knowing the science of the heart is information that can remove the mountain of doubt. You must open your heart and give yourself permission to become a new person altogether. Become as you want to be and do as you need to do. Learning about the heart and the brain, the reality, the field, quantum entanglement, has, at least I can confidently say, despite the resistance that I'm experiencing with women, has changed my life and will continue to change my life. I think the biggest change that I'm currently experiencing is going from intellectually understanding this information to emotionally experiencing it. Neville also talks about testing God's law, which is assume your wish fulfilled. Assume that your wish is fulfilled and see that your imagination is God in action. You're testing that's God's promise to us. That's the universe's promise to us, that what we imagine will come into fruition. When you experience what you imagine, that is the moment of true transformation. Because instead of intellectually understanding something, you now experience what you emotionally never could understand because you were too fixated on the intellectual side. And that's, for me, has been a big problem in my life, is for some reason thinking I can get to this intellectual point in which it all makes sense, which is kind of delusional to think about, because we have two major organs that dictate our experience of reality. The brain is intellectually driven, but the heart is emotionally driven. You will never fully experience something without emotionally embodying it. With that being said, take the intellect in this video and all the research that you're doing and apply it emotionally. Because just because you intellectually understand something doesn't mean you're going to experience it. If I had gone back 5 years ago and told myself what I wish I knew now, it'd be focus on the intellect. Do not neglect the intellect, but as you learn things of information, knowledge, emotionally apply it to your life. Because feeling truly is the secret. Because intellect only gets you so far, but feeling your wish fulfilled, knowing you are who you want to be, that is what magnetizes your dream into reality. And let's not forget that your heart is 100 times stronger than the brain. Focus on the emotions, please. Now, the last part about this video, not the last part, the how. So we're putting all this together now, okay? So coherence is key. Coherence is key, coherence is key. Say it with me, coherence is key. You must hold a clear intention between your brain and heart in order to change your field of energy, thus changing your experience of matter, reality. Matthew chapter 6, verse 22. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. What the fuck does that even mean? From a literal sense, but from an esoteric, hermetic perspective, the eye equals the pineal gland, and the pineal gland is your imagination. Light is fulfilled imagination or consciousness. If your whole body is filled with completion, then reality will reflect this, because the body also represents earth, physical matter. Completion being the state where you feel your future to be happening in the present. You will never want something if you feel emotionally that it's happening now. How can you want something if you have the emotional equivalence of it? For me, I need to develop the emotional conviction that I am a ladies' man, that I am exceptional with women, that I understand the female brain, the female creature, that I understand what makes them feel safe, that I understand what stimulates their mind. When I emotionally become that version of myself, I won't need to look around for anything I won't need to intellectually prove it to myself, because I already emotionally feel it to be a fact. And once that emotion sets in, I gotta be careful, because I don't want to make this video about me. But I genuinely feel like not being able to talk to women is holding my entire life back. I don't know, I can't explain it to you. I'm not going to explain it to you. But once I get past this resistance with women, I'm going to become a multimillionaire. I'm going to become a man of impact. And I really should be saying I am a man of impact irregardless, but I'm going to be such a different person than I am now, fulfilling the obligations of being a better person of service for humanity, building companies that drive impact, going out of my way to help family and friends. There's just something, I don't know. And you know, I don't got all this shit figured out. I'm human too. I got my problems. But I know once that state hits and it locks in and the molecular structure of my body changes, I better watch out, man. Now, a little visual to help you understand this. This is a revolving system around the how. If you state ideas and thoughts of I am happy and healthy, it goes down to the heart and what you feel happy and healthy. And this repeats, you create a reality where you are healthy and happy. This has to be coherent. You can't be saying I'm happy and healthy and then feel unhealthy and miserable. You get there's no coherence. I can't grab, but coherence is thinking and having ideas of health and happiness, and what you feel, truly feel healthy and happy. You do this by having a clear intention though. If the brain and heart are operating together, where thoughts are being met with feelings of naturalness, all organized by having a clear understanding of what you want your reality to be. Now, for the action part of this video, write these questions down and answer them. Who do you want to be? Write everything out in as much detail. If you're serious about this work, bro, truly serious about wanting to create your reality, you need to know who you want to become, because if you don't know and it's ambiguous, you don't really have control over your situation. You need to know as much about who you want to be in order for you actually to have a clear pathway of becoming that person. What does this version do on a day-to-day basis? Write everything out in as much detail. What time do you wake up? Do you get to sleep in whenever you want, so your sleep schedule is a little all over the place? That's okay. If that's who you want to be, that's okay. Do you have 1 cup of coffee, 2 cups of coffee? Are you super health centered, so you wait 90 minutes after waking up to have your first cup of coffee? Are you going to a cafe instead? Are you working a 9 to 5? Are you working in your own business? Are you making $100 million? Are you making $1 million? Are you making $1,000 a month? What does this version of yourself do on a day-to-day basis to bring about those things? How does this individual act moment after moment? Kind of the same question. What emotions does this individual feel? Write everything out in as much detail. This is probably the most important question for you to ask is, how do you feel? Do you feel confident, self-assured, powerful, potent? How do you feel? How does, and get deep, as I said, get deep with it. How do you feel in the situations where you close the deal for 100K, 200K, $1 million? How does it feel to know that you're able to propose to your wife? Or how does it feel to be proposed by your husband, or fiance, I should say? Fiance? Is it both fiance? Huh, I don't know. How much money is the individual making? Are you making $1,000 a day, a month? Are you making $1,000 an hour? Are you making 100 million a year? What is it? Get clear. As you get clear on who you are becoming, your brain creates new neural connections based on the ideas that you generate. You'll begin to emotionally sense this version of this version becoming who you are. Emotion, emotion, emotion. You can meditate and visualize yourself. You can meditate and visualize this version of yourself. You can dance around, you can go and drive to enter flow state. Just do what generates the most conviction within you that you are in fact this new version of yourself. There's no perfect method, there's no perfect technique. The only secret to manifesting is not knowing that your brain transmits ideas and your heart magnetizes these ideas by connecting it into the field, in which the field responds by creating events and situations that reflect the original idea. There is no secret pill, technique, or form of breathing, etc. that brings about your manifestation. There's only coherence. Coherence equals perception, perception equals experience, experience equals genetic expression. Now, not to throw a curveball here, but it's very helpful to know a little bit about epigenetics. Epigenetics is the study of gene expression. In short, your environment manifests a certain genetic code that ultimately creates your lived experience. This code is first determined by your brain and heart. Now, please feel the gravity of this statement. The code is first determined by your brain and heart. Because if your brain produces thoughts and ideas and your heart magnetizes these into feelings and emotions, and if your emotions change the expression of your genes, you gotta be so mindful of who you are being. Because when your genes fire a specific way, that changes the way the proteins are expressed. And the expression of proteins is the expression of reality. This code determines every aspect of your reality. For example, let us say you wanted to become a content creator, but fear being seen. You'd be stuck in the 200 view range because people would read your bullshit and you could feel your lack of conviction. Let's say you wanted to get in shape, but didn't have the feeling of being in shape, you would find yourself being out of shape. Do not ever let yourself think life is out of your control. It is not. What we are covering is the greatest tale of humankind. The story of man become greater than the odds of defying the impossible. Your genes hold the destiny, or they hold, how would I say it? Your genes hold infinite destinies. And you get to open up whatever expression you want. That is up for you to decide. But your genes is like the book of humanity, the book of your experience, where you can experience the worst possible situations or the most mediocre situations or the best situations for you. It all exists within your genetic expression. So don't believe that life is random. Life is not random. There's always a reason for what you're experiencing. There's no savior or messiah coming to save you. I'm sorry. It's just, can we please be realistic and honest about reality? The only savior that you can really, point to is if we're wanting to point to something, it would be your genes. Because if your genes have a specific code that come with a specific experience of reality, then it's your genes that are determining your fate, not a mythological character in a book that has been manipulated over thousands of years and has been used for political power and political gain over the masses. It's been a means of mass programming of control Because if you believe there's something outside of you controlling your destiny, then you're not going to step over the boundary of what's permissible. If you step over the boundary, then you're now not in the Almighty's favor, and you've crossed a line that is unforgivable. So you stay in line. That is bullshit. The only God. Fuck. No. I gotta be quick. This is about to. All right, my battery is getting a little too hot, so time for the concluding thoughts. I urge you to check out the album to listen intensely on the testimonies of self-healing below from Joe Dispenza's students to help you understand this system better, to have a better emotional conviction that manifestation is real, but there is a specific mechanism in which it unfolds. And if you listen to the testimonies of these individuals, it will move the mountains of doubt. Psalms chapter 82, verse 6, I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. This is a metaphor. You are the creator of your reality, so fucking create it by sacrificing who you are right now. Slit your throat, metaphorically, because I do not condone self-harm. I actually think it's the saddest and most depressing action any human could take. I would never tell someone that matter of reality is important. It is. You are just bigger than the fact of reality. Let yourself go. It is not worth living another day as that version of yourself, who you are currently living as right now. You're going to be miserable tomorrow, the next day, and the day after that. It's going to continue to repeat over and over and over again. You will continuously have the same Groundhog Day until you decide to change. Sacrifice who you are and now for a better life.